It's a song I love here in my home, you know. This is my home, baby.
My home, my crib,
My crib.
my cribs. Yeah.
Well, if you're getting down with us like that, this is Hello12. Thank you for watching us. And today we're talking to you about...
Couples and arguing, something that
we
I
do
don't
kind
think
of often, but we're not a couple.
Yeah.
We do agree to disagree sometimes.
Yeah, but that's the thing. For couples who argue, couples arguing something that you can't live without. You have to argue to to blow off some steams. But again, arguing in front of your children, is it positive? Is it negative? Is it just showing your children it is healthy to have a debate?
Yes,
Or-
I think that's one way of looking at it.
The one way of looking at it. Or for some children, they become a bit, I don't know, children can be very sensitive. You know, maybe...
Yes, because you never know what the kid's picking up from that argument. So to tell us more about what this whole issue is all about, we've got Murshidah in the studio. She'll be explaining and clarifying the Singaporean stress level at the end of this.
Bringing that out.
You're the only one qualified to answer.
Yeah, why do Singaporean need a laugh club?
Okay.
Sorry?
Why do Singaporeans need a laugh?
Oh, laugh club. Yeah, well, you know, it helps for people to laugh better. And you know, there is yoga classes that focuses on laughing. And in Malaysia, there are classes that are running, not just in Singapore, but also in Malaysia. But you know what? Like you said, endorphins. It helps to release stress, right? And any way that you find that help you release stress, I highly recommend it. Whether it's exercise, like Hairi mentioned just now, whether it is eating chocolates, like you said. For me, it is nasi kandar. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, represent, sister.
Yes, my husband is from Penang, so you know his family is from Penang, so I love nasi
So
kandar.
nasi kandar makes you
Makes
happy.
me happy. Yes.
See?
Yep. Chocolates are like, you know, oh well, I'm so used to it, you know, but nasi kandar makes me
She's
happy.
practically a Penangan.
Whatever makes you happy, you know. And why couples fight with each other, and we brought this topic, we're bringing this topic up today because we do have a lot of feedback and questions from the public asking us, my parents always argue, how do I deal with this? And these are coming not from adults, they are mostly coming from teenagers. And teenagers are still young adults or children, maturing children, and they are in that transition. But how do you deal with this? You know, do you try to fix them, or do you try to stop them, or do you try to ignore them? You know, so let's talk about this. Why parents fight? Like you mentioned just now, it's a way to release stress sometimes.
Okay.
They have challenges at work, sometimes they have challenges at with money, and you know, they fight. Parents fight, you know, and when it's negative, it has an impact of negativity towards the children. Children pick that up, you know, and they feel uncomfortable. I'm not saying that parents are always, you know, happy, lovey-dovey all the time. You know, parents do argue, and when you argue, you know, make it healthy, and it's okay to agree to disagree, right? As long as the kids are aware, you know, like you argue, and then after that it ends with, you know, hand-holding, hugging, kissing, and saying, I'm sorry, I love you anyway. That would be marvelous. But if it's like, you know, they're really negatively putting each other down in front of the kids, and always remember, parents, we are role models, you know, and parents are role models. Children don't listen to you, they follow what you do, right?
All right, now when we look at a marriage, they've been arguing way before the kids came along. I mean, they've been arguing.
Old habit die hard.
So maybe even through couplehood they've been arguing. These are little disagreements that happen. I mean, you're looking at another girl's photo, you get a... so it happens. But when it comes to kids, they often forget that the child is there. So how do parents turn on that warning light to say like, hey, you know, my kid's in the hall, I shouldn't be arguing here, I should do it somewhere else?
Yes,
how do they do that?
That's a great idea. You know, you have that understanding with your husband. Look, this is something that we need to discuss in private. Go somewhere else and argue about it or discuss about it, you know, in private, not in front of the kids, or worse, if you're putting each other down. It's okay to argue with respect, you know, but when it comes to disrespect, your children will pick that up, you know, and that is when children feel stressed out. You know, stress doesn't just come from exams. For the children, it is the family environment, and most of the stress coming from the children are from their parents. And you know, this is the environment that they are, you know, they're supposed to be the place place where they go to when they have challenges or they have problems, and parents are their role models. So if they feel that their parents are, shaking their environment or their sense of security, it actually affects them, and it will not only affect them mentally, emotionally, physically as well. Some children have challenges in sleeping, focusing in school, sometimes have a challenge of waking up, because of all this stress that they feel. And children, if they are not aware, when they see parents fighting, they start to imagine things. Oh, my parents are getting divorced, or I am the cause of all their challenges. I shouldn't have been born, that's why we have financial challenges. Or I didn't study hard enough, and that's why they are fighting. They have all these things going on in their head. So as parents, be aware that these are things that you affect your children on when you raise your voice in front of them. But let's say you are arguing for the sake of, oh, I want to eat this, oh, you want to eat this, what's we're going to have for dinner, that sort of arguments where it is healthy and it's something that is not so deep and serious. It is okay, right? I just wanted to have a sharing. Yesterday I met up with an old friend who did, when I talked about her about this topic, and then she was sharing with me that she grew up in an environment where she never saw her parents fight at all.
Same.
At all.
Same.
Totally happy. Totally happy looking, and everything was happy until one day one parent sat down with the kids and said, look, we're getting a divorce.
Wow,
so it just shocked her. So she said it shifted the way she started to parent her own children now. So it's when she argues with her husband, it is okay for them to see it, but not in a, when it's a very serious topic or something. When they argue, the children see it, but they also let the children see how they resolve it, with the hugs and the kisses.
That's the most important part.
And the holding hands.
How did they resolve it?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, now not all parents are perfect. Not every couple are perfect. Some go to weeks on end when they are arguing on a particular subject. How about having a cold war and literally involving your children? Like, I don't want to talk to your dad, you give this to him, passing notes and so on.
Tell your father.
Tell your father, I will not cook his favorite meal tonight. This is a note, I will not talk to him. Involving the kids in the fight itself.
Is that why? There's a reason why you speak in a British accent?
I don't know. It just sounds more problems like that. It just sounds cool.
Yeah, but you know what? I agree with you. Do not involve the kids in that. Look, as children, you are not meant to be referees in your parents' arguments. And this is, I'm talking to children here who are watching, and don't worry about that. If anything like negativity comes out of the family, you just go to your room or be aware that your parents are not perfect, and maybe they are not aware that they are doing this and the impact that they have on you. But if you are aware that your parents are not perfect, they are not aware that they are creating maybe even higher stress for you and your other siblings, you move out of the room, right? And then for parents, please do not involve your children like this. Don't ask them to take sides at all. Right? So, you deal with your relationship, you deal with each other. Don't bring your children in with you, right? And if you really need to deal with it, get a counselor, get a therapist, somebody who is neutral to come in and be an intermediary.
All right.
Their challenges.
Let's open up the phone lines. We have a caller who's interested to ask you a question, Murshidah. Good morning. Morning. Hello.
I believe the parents shouldn't draw the involvement of the children about the parent argument.
Okay.
It's important.
Okay.
The parent must responsible that when the parent do a certain argument, they should shun away from until the children, because it can make negative perception and perspective in the children's psyche. So the parent must preserve the psyche of the children, so that the children grow will be good, and it doesn't mean that when the children argument, they shouldn't make the children to be a scapegoat. Scapegoat means, I mean that the children must settle all the problem among themselves, but by themselves.
Right.
To draw the problem to the mind, to the psyche of the children. It is important. So the parents are responsible enough that they must be do something that the problem among the parents should be resolved by themselves. mistake don't involve with the children. So it is important.
Cool.
Thank you, Terence.
Thank you very
Alright,
much. Thank you very
thank
much.
you.
Scapegoat's worse than referee, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, you know. If you get what's that, scapegoats, or
Yeah.
don't get them involved. You know, the children are precious. They're our responsibility. We need to bring them up with love. If there are challenges with your relationship, you deal with them as adults. You do not bring another third, you know, like your children who is like in between, you know, to try to mediate or try to choose sides. I think that is very unfair, right? And like, you know, what's happening here on the screen is like, we teach children peace unless someone else teach them violence. So when the way we argue with our spouse is also important, because they pick that up. They pick how the husband talks to the wife,
That's
and then
true.
how the wife talks to the husband, and this shapes their future as well.
I like this one.
Yeah, Mom and I love you. Please get some help. Yeah.
Get
Oh.
some help, please.
I know. And
Okay.
this is how some children feel. Only they can't say it, but that's how they feel. They feel so stressed out with the environment right now, and if their parents are fighting, they're like, no, why is this happening to me? You
Okay,
know, what
okay.
did I do wrong?
In the working environment, when you yell at your boss, or your boss yells at you, and
Nobody
you get
yells
into an
at your
argument.
boss.
Nobody yells at your boss.
Not in United States. Only in United States.
Okay, well,
Here we
I
do
think
that,
you
your
should
boss.
sometimes yell at your boss. He should take it with a pinch of salt. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's a different topic altogether. So you bring that stress home, you argue with your spouse,
Yeah.
and your kid is there feeling all that stress, but your kid has no one to argue with. Maybe he's
Yeah.
an only child, so he takes it out on someone in school.
He can take it out on someone's school. That's a very good point. That's, you know, bullying happens like that, and then he goes to onto the internet, you know, and well, God knows what's on the internet. That, you know, sometimes they just want to vent out. They play violent games inside
Right,
there if
true.
they are not monitored, right? So be sure to set a role yourselves as role models to your children, because they are watching you and they will follow you, and their belief systems are shaped by how they see your, you know, your relationship, your relationships are, you know, especially between couples.
Yeah, can I just add in a little bit of my point of view,
Sure.
that a lot of parents think of their children as wallpapers, especially when they are young, as if they do not have a mind of their own to
Wallpapers.
contribute. Wallpapers, in a sense, they talk to each other, even sometimes talking about the child itself, and the child is just in front of them, you know, and having arguments or debates and so on, and not including the child in the debate. Just my point of view, you know, do not
okay.
treat the children as wallpapers.
I'll bring this up. 0 to 6 years old, very, very powerful conditioning. You know, 0 to 6 years old is, sometimes they can't even talk, but they're absorbing all this. They see you, they follow you, they listen to the things around you, you know, it goes into them, and then it manifests itself from 7 years old onwards. So I've got some parents telling me, you know, but my child is only 3 or 4 years old. What do they know? I say they know a lot more than you think. You know, they will pick this up, and then by the time they can talk, the words will start to come out.
And
you know,
you know, where
and
to-
exactly. And then if they see somebody hitting somebody else, that's what they will do.
Oh
You
my.
know, and it's very, very powerful. So be aware that your kids are watching you. And this is something as a parent, I also realize that, because my daughter is like, you know, she takes on all the things that she learned from 0 to 6 years old. And at the time, you know, you never think that, you know, she's really paying attention, but it comes out now. Now she's 6 years old. And you know, when we walk, she'll be like holding my hand, holding Zil's hand, my husband, and then she'll put our hands together. And I said, well, how did I end up holding my husband's hand? You know, then she'll be like, I'll stand over here. You know, she brings us together, you know, and then sometimes she'll force us to kiss, you know, because it is, you know, to show love, you know, and we do that. We show that, and then sometimes we argue, but we also show that, you know, we solve the you know, how we settle the arguments in front of her as well, you know.
Right.
And she learned this activity that we do, and this is something that I hopefully later will be shared on screen. It is called What I Feel Like Sharing. And if there are challenges in your family, and I've introduced this in some families, and I have also introduced this in some organizations and bosses, I tell you, when you practice this with your staff, you will see amazing changes within your organization, as well as how the customers actually relate to you. Okay,
Alright.
it goes like this. We have our morning meetings in my family where we have a What I Feel Like Sharing session. So the first part is somebody will talk and say what I feel like sharing or what I feel like saying. The person who's talking will talk about what the person is feeling and focus on the feeling, which is love and respect or anything. No blaming allowed, no attacking anybody. If you are unhappy about something, you share about how you feel about that situation, everybody else listens 100%. No talking, no interrupting. Until the person finishes talking, you say what I feel, that's what I feel like saying. And then the other person responds, you know. And we do this whenever we feel like a heated argument between my husband and I. Sometimes, you know, we're a couple as well. You know, we also have disagreements with totally different personalities. Right. So when we argue and it's like something, okay, look, this is getting a bit heated up. Okay, let's do a what I feel like sharing session or what I feel like saying session. One person talks, the other person totally listens, and no attacking allowed. It's just focusing on your own personal feelings. And when that person listens, it's like, you know, oh, I get to hear from her point of view. So instead of people arguing, but you know, or interrupting before the other person finishes, the other person gets to hear the other person out, and you get to hear the other person's point of view as well. You know, and we do that as a couple. We do that as a family. You know, even now my cat knows how to get involved as well.
Your cat?
Yes, she knows when to meow. We ask her, what do you feel like saying? What do you feel like sharing, Siti? And she say meow. Yeah. So you know, it becomes a habit that even the cat is involved.
Yeah, so that's fantastic.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Murshidah, for joining us here on Hello on 2. As usual, you bring love and respect into our show, and I hope we're sharing that with you at home. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And yeah, about the Laugh Club, the Malaysian Laugh Club, I think I know who all the members are. They're all politicians, especially this time of the year.
Singaporeans living in Malaysia.
No lah, don't be so like
joking.
that. It's the Malaysian politicians.
I
now
love
they are very
Singaporeans.
tensed up. You know, it's the
Oh yes.
so they all go to Laugh Club. They cannot really laugh. Just go to Laugh Club. See
Or eat nasi kandar and laugh.
See, now you're on the right track. Nasi kandar and laugh, huh?